and we may not get to hear Sharon, and we're not quite sure where Jane is. So Sharon can hear me. Yes, Sharon can hear me. Yes, she can. So what I might do is I might just read through these scripts on the screen, and if there are any questions or any things we need to discuss, we can certainly do the old-fashioned typing process, and Sharon can certainly type into the chat box rather than having listened to her voice. And we'll just see how this works. We'll certainly make it work and we'll have a bit of fun with it. This is a great thing, maybe in terms of a lesson in terms of people being out there in the world, which is the name of the webinar tonight. Often when we go out into the world, these things do challenge us. So this is a great lesson for all of us to work with something that isn't perfect, but we will make the most of it. And if we can get through tonight and travel this journey together, what a great feat it will be. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and we will see what unfolds. So we may start the process, and we'll get Sharon to maybe type something into the chat box to start us off this evening on this amazing journey. And looks like Jane is with us too. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Good, Jane. So what we've decided to do, we're going to use the chat box, and we will let Sharon just put up the slides for the process that we've been working on. And
Right.
Sharon can type into the chat box and communicate that way. We'll just pretend maybe she's lost her voice for the evening or something like that, just for a bit of fun, and we'll certainly make everything happen as well as we can. How about that?
Okay. And look, I can't see the chat box, so will you direct any questions to me? Can you sort of like be the...
I will. Sharon, up on the top left hand of your screen, there's a little blue box. If you click the icon, it's your chat box. Have you got a column on the left hand side of your screen?
I haven't, no.
Right, okay, look, we will, I'll talk, you talk, I'll chat, and Sharon can chat, and between us, the three musketeers will have a great evening.
Excellent. I'm ready.
Okay, so look, I will let Sharon type, and maybe I'll read what she has to say, and people can read what she has to say. And what does she say here? Maybe the two of you can talk about your magic. There we go. We're going to have a little bit of discussion. But what I might ask Sharon to do is to work through the slides as we worked at previously, and we'll talk to the slides as well to keep people up to speed. So,
yeah, great.
Jane, if I begin for a few minutes, and then you can certainly jump in and take over and do a little bit too.
Perfect.
So the first slide is the introduction for Jane and myself this evening, and I'll let Jane speak about herself at the moment. But just to introduce us both, we're both professional speakers and authors, and we're both connected with Sharon and the Global Healing Exchange, and we're both two of our feature writers for the beautiful magazine that comes out through Global Healing Exchange. So this is a beginning, getting yourself out into the world, and we're going to speak today and hopefully give you some tips and some insights on supporting you to get more out into the world in terms of your business. So we may click away. Sharon, do you have another slide there? It seems like, hey, so look, you can all read. I'll read through it quickly, but I'm not going to take it away from you all. That I'm sure you can read these words unless you're listening and watching in a different language. You may be a French person not reading English, but I'll read through. Many of you work alone, and having support around you is one of the keys to success. And I know for myself, and maybe Jane can speak on this too, that having support, particularly through the Global Healing Exchange, has been a great network of support. And also I'm in a mastermind group that's a weekly group that's been going for 5 years. And I think support is one of the key elements to any success. and certainly tonight we want to offer some of that support. So have you got anything to share with that, Jane, yourself, in terms
Look,
of...
I would say that certainly one of the shocks for me in terms of leaving what you might call standard employment arrangements to really leap into my passion and run my business, one of the great surprises to me was how much I missed the regular, routinized public contact. You know, people with other humans, human beings, and just able to bounce ideas off everybody and get a real feel for whether I was just working in my own little void or whether I was tapping into something that other people were feeling. So, as you say, Global Healing Exchange is a group of really wonderful people, and we're pretty much all in the same boat, that we are running our businesses and we are helping other people, but to be able to sometimes just download is just such a wonderful opportunity. And Sharon has built this community around supporting people like us to keep doing what it is that we know we need to be doing out in the world.
Absolutely, and the invitation is there for those of you listening. If you haven't joined Sharon through the Facebook and for the website, I really say to you, it's really worth doing. I've been involved with GEHE now for quite some time, and Sharon and I have met up several times, and Jane and I have been speaking lots on the phone, and the support really is just a wonderful place to come and get that support. So look, if you have any questions in there, we can certainly answer those. Otherwise, we will continue the process. And some of the slides seem to be a bit blurry, apparently, but we'll soldier on with the next one and just see if that one is blurry too. And if not, I'll read the slides anyway, because my end, they are not blurry. They are very clear. What do you do to get yourself out there? There's a question we're posing. You may have written a book or want to get some public speaking engagements, but how do you make it happen? This is the question. What are the processes for you to write the book, get the book published, and also get yourself out there in terms of public speaking? Because I believe that the book is the new business card. It really isn't about selling the book to make money per se. It really is about people reading the story and getting to grips with what we have to say. And certainly for me, I still use my business cards, but my book and my ebook very much have become my new business card. And certainly public speaking is something I've been doing myself for over 20 years now, and it's a great way to connect with people. And Jane and I can both give you a few tips on how to go about that. So I'll just let Jane jump in and have a little bit of a share, read this question as well.
Yes, look, and what I find with the book is that it builds a bridge between ourselves and our potential clients. You know, it's a very accessible and, dare I say, safe way for people who don't know us to get a good feel for us. And there's, of course, the halo effect as well of a sense of authority, of trustworthiness, of being an expert in a field, which we all know our stuff really well, but the halo effect sometimes goes over and above that to just make us seem like we're already known. And that's been such an interesting thing for me to experience. Now, to go into the how do you get the book written, I won't go into my whole story because mine was a 5-year journey of first putting pen to paper, thinking that I'm going to build my coaching practice by writing a book. And I actually invested in an online program. I'm one of those people who thinks, okay, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. There was a program that I invested in, which had some templates, which had some, you know, easy ways to start, and it certainly got me off the starting blocks. But before too long, I hit a wall because it started to overwhelm me. It was as if I'd kind of unzipped the top of my head and tipped all of the contents out. I had too much material. Now, people may think, oh, gee, that's a problem I'd like to have. Well, it's almost as bad as not having any content out at all, really. So I then went into a story. Now, do stop me, Adrian, if I'm going on too long with this.
No, it's all good.
back in the day, I went into a story about, oh, well, who am I kidding? I'm not a writer. I can't write a book. How can I call myself an expert? You know, I went into the classic I'm not good enough type scenario. And that took me some years to dig my way out of. It took me into getting more qualifications. I believed the story of I'm not qualified enough. Now, it wasn't a bad thing. I went and did transpersonal coaching at the Nature Care College, and I stumbled on the hero's journey. And that was a game changer for me. And of course, for people writing books, the hero's journey is the archetypal character in all of our stories. And these are the things that bind us together. So coming across the hero's journey got me a much, much, much further along the path of writing my book. I then invested in more training, in a retreat, hit another wall where I'm thinking, oh my God, I spent almost $30,000 and almost 5 years and I still don't have a book. So what I had to do was actually sit with what I had, sit with the discomfort of that, and actually work out what exactly did I mean, what did I need, I should say. And that was what got me to where I am now. And I worked out the 5 barriers to getting a book written, and hopefully this will be helpful for people. That and it wasn't just me who felt this. I did a fair bit of research around the traps, asking people. And really, if you don't have any process that you're working within, no sense of how to start and what to do next, and ultimately how to finish, then that can be a major barrier. So if we call that barrier number 1, then the next barrier is not having any structure about how to get the information out of your head and onto the page in a way that's going to resonate with your audience. And then there's the question of energy. It's both productive and creative energy that we need to get ourselves through a fairly big project like writing a book. And then there's the question of mindset, which is a really big one. If you have no strategy around keeping yourself buoyed, keeping your self-belief strong, not buying into any not good enough stories, then that's another big barrier. And then the last one for me is if there's no feedback along the way, if there's no way to check in and make sure you're getting towards your target, and or to either celebrate because you are jumping all of the hoops you need to, or to rattle your own cage if you're letting yourself down, then that's another endless path that you can go down. So I sort of analysed the 5 barriers, and I've got ways to jump over those hurdles. If anybody, if that resonates in particular with anyone, just you know, pop a message in the sidebar there, and I'll go into any one or all of those if you like.
Thank you, Jane. So look, I think those tips are great, and hopefully if people didn't write them down, Jane can certainly get those notes to you in some way, I'm sure, whether it's in the sidebar or even through Sharon, through the Global Healing Exchange in some way on a little piece of paper or such. And because those tips are really, really valuable, because writing is a process. Jane mentioned it took her 5 years to write her book. My first children's book took me 8 years, and my second personal development book took me 4 years. So I certainly know the process of those challenges. The demons come up all over the place. They really do. It's quite a journey. One of the big things I often say to people when I'm doing my mentoring with people writing, I say the first thing we have to do, we have to learn to pick up the pen. And there's many, many of my friends who are budding writers, and they fail to pick up the pen. So lesson number 1 is always pick up the pen, get some paper and start writing, or get the keyboard and start writing. And then, as Jane says, get some support, get a mentor, get a group, get something to help in that support and get the feedback. I think it's very, very, very important. And as Jane says, she spent lots of time, lots of energy, and lots of money in a program. And look, there's some great programs out there, and there's not so good programs out there. And some people are program people, and some people are not program people. So you have to find your own method, your own way to become a writer, and then obviously find somebody to support you in the publishing process. So it's a huge journey, and I would say the public speaking is as difficult, if not more difficult, than writing a book for many, many people. Now, public speaking is one of the top 5 fears on the planet. To speak, either online like we're doing now, or publicly in front of 3 people or 300 or 3,000 people. And I love it. I love being out there and public speaking, but it's taken 20 years to really master that journey. So once again, find a support base for that. And I know that the Global Healing Exchange certainly can be a great platform with all our experts in many, many fields to support you on that. So that's probably covered to some degree, I think, that question of the support process. Certainly Sharon, myself and Jane can help you further along the line if there are any more questions. And if there is anything specific and any questions, please type them in the sidebar and we'll have a read through. So Sharon, I may ask you to, in the background there, over in the UK on holiday in the sunshine where we're freezing our little butts off here in Australia, to click the next slide if you wouldn't mind, if you can hear me. This is a great question, and I certainly have something to share on this. But what I'm going to do is just ask everybody listening in just to type a word into the sidebar so we know you're all still with us, still alive. I'd like you to write the word elephants in the sidebar, just so we know you're with us. So I'm going to see a herd of elephants coming up on the sidebar. So just type that little word in if you can hear Adrian. It's always good to have a little bit of a check-in when we're live, in case suddenly everybody is gone offline for some technical reason. So I can see some elephants arriving, which is fantastic. So let's have a few more elephants arriving. And elephants. There we go. Thanks, Anne. Got some elephants arriving. It's just good to know that everything's still up and running and going. Thanks, Shana. It's always good to have a bit of fun on these things too. So we do have people in the room, and sometimes we have to name those elephants in the room too. So it's good fun. So look, is your expert walking their talk? One great way to find out is to go to their home or to their business center, walk in and check it out. And if they're living the life that they are putting out there in the world, back in their home, then you know they're walking your talk. I say to anybody, anytime you want to walk into my home to see the way I live, you're very, 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 very welcome, because I try my utmost to walk my talk in my home life. So I think for me the litmus test is how people live their life at home, in their office, and also out there in public. And if there's a match, then for me that is somebody walking their talk. I've worked with many, many people and coaches over the years. I've visited their offices and their homes, and a few I've left behind. I won't name, and shame, but I certainly have left a few people behind because, in my opinion, they certainly were not walking the talk of what they were delivering out there in the world. So I think that's very, very important. Of the public image matches the home image. I think it's really, 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 really important. So you take your own cue on that one and get a sense of your own expert walking your talk in your own life and in your own public arena. What is it you need to maybe change out there or at home to bring those two things more into alignment? I think that word alignment is a very, very interesting word to work with. So Jane, do you have anything to share on walking your talk?
Look, it's just interesting to listen to you talking about it, Adrian. Look, what I'm wary of is when it's always good news. You know, if do you know what I mean? I mean, yeah. I'm quite happy to tell you that I've just come back from Melbourne. I was running a workshop. I was trialling Melbourne as a venue. I've done my workshops in Sydney, and I was looking to branch out. And it was just a little bit disappointing in as much as I run Facebook ads in Sydney and I'll get 15 people into a room with no difficulty. In Melbourne, I had 10 booked in and 5 turned up. And I felt that, well, I'm going to say I'm a little bit disappointed. that's all there is to it, that I'm a real person, and we set ourselves sometimes some bars that might be a little unrealistic, because at the end of the day I can now see that I'm not known in Melbourne. I've built up some very big networks in Sydney and branched out to Melbourne, and you know, it was a small turnout, but interestingly enough though, I learned an awful lot from those people who were in the room, because we had a lot of time for more one-on-one interaction. But when I see on Facebook in particular that everything's fabulous, you know, I've just broken this record and just done this and written my book in 3 days and, you know, all of those kind of things, I just feel a little bit wary. I just feel like we're holistic in terms of how we run our businesses as much as we are in terms of how we present ourselves out in the arena. And, you know, sometimes the best conversations I have with people are to do with when they're quite prepared to be vulnerable, knowing that I'm prepared to be vulnerable. And that's just something that's come up for me as you spoke about what you spoke about. At the end of the day, I value realness. I value people turning up as they are. And that whole thing about getting out there as well. Don't wait for perfection, guys. Just don't put yourself through that. You have every right to be seen and heard as you are, and you will be welcome as you are. Believe me, that's been one of the best awarenesses. That take it from an introvert who had to get out of their own way to launch their book. I see you smiling, Adrian. I was one of those people who was writing the book, and that was strategic. That was to bring people into my coaching business. And people would say, where are you going to launch it? And when's the launch? And I'd be, oh, no, I don't think I need to fuss around with the launch. You know, and you know where I was coming from. As an introvert, I just wanted a nice rock to go and sit under, but I did want my message out there. But the message without me is meaningless. We know that. So there I was, ultimately, at Glee Books, on the stage, launching my book. And I realised at that point in time that writing the book had fundamentally changed me. And that's something that I'm always really keen to mention to people as well. As much as I said earlier that there were 5 barriers and that it cost me a lot of money, it cost me a lot of time, what I got back was so much worth what it cost me and more, because I got to own my story. I got to really step into who I am and the power of that. And the freedom within that as well. The freedom to just be me as I am at any given time is just the place that I want to be, and the place that I want the people to be able to be as well. And you know what's funny is I realised I don't think I've even answered your question, Adrian. Yeah. I went off on tangent. Am I walking my talk? That's it. That was it, or what were my thoughts on your thoughts on
Jane,
talk?
Jane, I think in your response you very much answered that. What I'd like to add to, because somebody's typed in here, was Sonia, she said, however, you've broke the barrier, and I think, Jane, when you mentioned you are now to some degree comfortable with yourself about being out there, almost that is the final barrier for us, isn't it? You know, when you feel comfortable to some degree with what you're doing or what we're doing, that is that final barrier almost of breaking it down and saying, I'm now comfortable with me. I'm comfortable to hold the book in my hand. I'm comfortable to hold the microphone in my hand. And that's a place one gets to with practice and even more practice, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was nicely summarised. Thank you, Adrian. Nicely put.
Yeah. So look, we may ask little. I'm just reading down the side here, so in case I don't miss anything. Sharon's mentioned the word authentic, and I think very much it's about that authenticity of, if we're writing something in a book or speaking publicly, that we are walking that talk. And look, you know, we're human too. We all muck up. We all have our demons and our challenges. I certainly have them daily. So it's not about being perfect, but it's about striving for that perfection. And I say, if we're playing life at 80 or 90%, I think that's a good thing to work with and to walk with. 80 or 90% authenticity gives us a bit of room for manoeuvring and growth. So I can see Sharon again. Beautiful Sharon smiling at us on the camera. Hi, Sharon over there in the UK. Sorry, you've got laryngitis tonight. I believe we can't hear you, but maybe Sharon, if there's anything. Hey, what's up, Sharon? There we go. Okay, we might ask you to pop another slide up there, Sharon, to move us along, if that's okay with you. You're doing great there over there in the background, popping up those slides for us. This is teamwork, you know. We talk about support, and we certainly have a team support here with the three of us tonight, and also with everybody tuning in. Hi, Aman. Nice to have you on board here. Says here, why I built Global Healing Exchange. I've found great experts who get great results and have compiled their knowledge so you can find it easily in one place. Global Healing Exchange is a place you can come for support from like-minded people. We have some amazing experts to help you with your needs. I think currently there are about 30 experts who are writing, there may be some more than that, writing for the magazine. And I've been tuning in to many of these people and connecting up, and the variety of the experts, global, and you know, the magazine's Global Healing, and the experts certainly are global from all over the world, and Sharon has done an amazing job pulling all these experts together globally and pulling the magazine together. That is an amazing read. If you haven't read the magazine yet, you know, please after this go to the Global Healing website and download the free magazines and read some of the things that the experts have to say. Each edition is very, very packed to the rafters with some great information. And Sonia Fumas, I was talking about branching out from Sydney because it's a big call to grow your business in new areas. It is often in one business plan, but many don't execute. Success is in the execution. Absolutely, Sonia. And I think following up what Jane said, the execution can be a very, very slow process. It can be a year's process, particularly in writing a book or getting our businesses prepared. And certainly I know Sharon has taken many, many years getting the Global Healing Exchange up and running. There's a lot of background work that none of us are even aware of. And that's pretty common for most businesses, and certainly getting that support through Global Healing Exchange with everybody listening in is a great way to push through those barriers and get the businesses up and running and really flying. So I'm going to read on again. Sharon's written something up here. I'll try and read it in a Sharon voice. Have you got something up there for Sharon to read? And I'll read it in a Sharon accent if I can. No, I'm going to kid it. What's that next one you had up there? We'll tell a little bit about Global Healing, and then Jane and I have a little bit of a share about our story too. So I won't do it in Sharon's voice because I'll have everybody fits of laughter, but I'll read it as if I'm Sharon. My name is Sharon White, and I'm the founder of Global Healing Exchange. I've been a health practitioner for 20 years. I'm a journey practitioner, NLP trainer, matrix therapy, timeline therapy, hypnotherapist, Reiki master, and massage therapist, and have worked with hundreds of clients over the years. And having met Sharon, I know her journey has certainly been one of authenticity and working pretty amazingly with her clients. She's she's got some great modalities behind her, and she is certainly somebody who I chose to come on board with. I checked her out quite rigorously before I came on board. I only align myself with people who are really walking the talk, and I'm certainly very proud to be walking side by side with Sharon in the Global Healing Exchange because I've been to her home, I've checked her out, and she certainly is walking that talk. So welcome to the Global Healing family for those of you who are on board and want to come on a lot deeper. We have another slide up here on my life-changing realizations in order to be truly effective in your work, you need to get rid of any blocks, stand up, get seen and be heard, find the right people to help you to get where you want to go. And Jane, have you got anything to share in light of what's on the screen right now on the slide?
Look, it's an interesting thought that comes to me hearing that from Sharon in terms of her putting the slides together, because Sharon and I first met about 10 years ago, and we were doing our neuro-linguistic programming training together, and we both had very, very, very big awakenings. I mean, Sharon had already done a lot of work. She'd done the journey work. She'd, been working in the field for some time. I, on the other hand, had come to it pretty green. I had done a basic coaching course, and on the basis of that went in to get the training in NLP, and all manner of material came out of me that I wasn't remotely aware of. And it just reminds me of how amazing it can be in terms of how unaware we can be, how so not in touch with ourselves, and how living on the surface can keep us unattached as well. So Sharon was one of the bravest people I'd ever met when we did our NLP training. And when she talks about, getting clear of your blockages and working through them, I think we've both, in our own ways, been doing that now for a very long time. And that for me has absolutely been the key that's enabled me to be able to get out there and be seen. It was, as I said earlier, it was getting over the barriers with writing the book that got me ultimately up onto a stage and realising that people wanted to hear what I had to say, that I was making a connection, that I did have meaningful stories and a journey to share. And right here, right now, the thing that drives me in my business is that we're connected by stories. That stories are the thing, and the more that we are prepared to stand up and own our story and share our story and share other people's stories, the more fulfilled and alive we feel. So that's what comes up for me when Sharon, popped the slide up there about, getting free of our limiting beliefs and whatever it is that you might want to call it. Just continuing to tease out any of that white noise around ourselves that's keeping us small and keeping us feeling like we don't deserve to be seen, or that we'll be too vulnerable if we are seen. I think the out there is there for all of us.
Absolutely, Jane. And I think, a lot of people have those blockages around standing up and getting seen, being heard. And certainly what I do when I'm working with people is, the first thing I do with them is get a look at their business card. And I say, you have to get a business card. And for some people, that's one of the biggest hurdles they have to overcome, is writing down on the business card what it is they're offering to the world. Getting clarity on what it is they're offering. Naming their modality, giving themselves a name, whether it's a coach or a teacher or inspirer or motivator or whatever word they have. So I would say, get your business card, dunk, up and running. Get a brochure, up and running. Get an ebook or a book, up and running, and break down those barriers and get out there and get seen. So start with a small one. Start with, and then there's obviously the website and the blogging and the Facebook presence. But start small and build up slowly would be my advice in terms of standing up, getting seen and being heard. Particularly for the introverts, start slowly. I'm an extrovert, but I'm the opposite. It's I have to slow myself down rather than push myself, which is also a challenge. So I would say, if you want to get seen, start small. Get your business card, Don't spend, $5,000 on a website. Start with something easy, something manageable, something small. Don't make it too difficult to begin with. I think that's one of the secrets too. And get clear on what that place is, where you want to go. Get your focus. Get your vision. I think the vision is very important too. So look, let us move along. I'm very much aware of the time, and time management is very important. So a place for support. The GHE, Global Healing Exchange, is an amazing place for support already. Hundreds of people across the planet are connecting up and being supported through the magazine, through the website, through the experts from Sharon herself. And we can all have this, and it doesn't have to be a struggle and does not have to cost you a lot of money. It really doesn't need to cost money. We have three currencies. We have time, we have energy, and we have money. And I think it's important to get them all into balance. And the time we spend with global healing, the energy we put in and take out of global healing, and also the money we put into anything, particularly global healing exchange. What's that going to cost us in real terms? I always weigh up those three currencies for myself, and I know that over the last few months with Sharon, it's been great economy and great sense in my energy, my time, and the money I've spent. It's been very, very rewarding, and I've had lots of benefits back. So certainly is worth those few dollars investment. It's worth the time investment. It's certainly worth the energy investment. Jane, do you have anything to share with that yourself?
Yeah, look, I would say that Sharon has really priced this to make it as available to everyone as possible. When I look at what she's charging versus what other programs cost, it's really a bit of a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, what Sharon's offering here. And as you said, Adrian, it's all about the support that we can get through an organisation like this. And I look at it from the other side as well. I look at it in terms of how much downtime we have when we're not supported in this way. So the membership to Global Healing Exchange pays for itself time and time and time again, I feel.
Absolutely, it certainly does. Look, it's less than a cup of coffee a week, and it's it's just a no-brainer for me. It makes so much sense. It's just there. It's easy. It's just the payment. But we'll let Sharon share a little bit more about it as we go through the slides. I'm aware that it's quarter to the hour, so we might move on with the next slide, Sharon, if you may, please. A gift for you. I love gifts. I just love them. Doesn't have to be a birthday or Christmas. At the end of this webinar, we have a special gift. Whoops, it slipped up. For you to start making a change today. This webinar is unique to Global Healing Exchange community. It is the second time I've done a webinar with some of our experts. So it's all new and happening, and we are definitely live here across the world. Sharon is in the UK, and we're here in Australia, and I'm not quite sure where the listeners are. I think there's somebody from New Zealand and all over, so it certainly is a global community, and that's what I really love, what Sharon has brought together. She's certainly a big vision person, and being a big vision person myself, I certainly resonate with what Sharon is and has been doing. And let's move on and find out what these little gifts might be. As I say, why I'm doing a webinar now. I spent the last 6 years building the Global Healing Exchange community, educating about health and well-being and serving the broader population. I have the right experts on board to help the community, and I really want to share them and their knowledge. Thank you for sharing this, Sharon. It feels really nice to be shared around and allow our expertise to be shared, because that's why we are in the industry we're in, because most of us love to share, because it's a sharing industry, very much so. What would you have to say on that, Jane? Do you agree that it's a very sharing industry?
Absolutely, yes. The generosity in this industry just boggles my mind. I came from a corporate background, and I'm always saying, I wish I knew this stuff existed. 20 years ago. I could have really, really used a lot of what I know now to get myself out of some very deep holes that I dug for myself. But here it is, and to the extent that Sharon spreads the word really, really well, I just think the world's a better place.
It certainly is. Yes, hats off to Sharon. She's yeah, amazing, and I think now she's got that team of experts behind her. It gives her so much more confidence in pushing forward with that support and that team. It's a great team to work together. So who is this program not for? That's a great question. Rather than saying who it is for, I really love coming from those other angles. This is not for people who are comfortable in their current life and don't want to change. I think they're called the minority. If people are really truthful about their life, because for me it's all about growth and change, no matter what we're doing. Because if we don't grow, we get stagnant. So for me, I don't like being comfortable, to be honest. I like a bit of comfort occasionally, but if I get into the comfort zone too much, it means I'm not growing. So I like a little bit of the stressful life and the challenge to keep me in growth. So the program's not for those people. It's for people who don't want to work or want to do it the hard way. So that's self-explanatory there, isn't it? You know, there is some work to be done. It's always about pushing through those barriers with work. And also people who don't want to be part of the community. You know, why wouldn't you not want to be part of this community? And if you don't, that's cool. It's we live in a democracy, and there is a freedom of choice. But I think missing out on, you know, particularly living in, working, and being in this community, it's a no-brainer not to join it. So, so if those things don't fit you, you know, that's cool. So we find out who it is for. Who is this program for? Well, it's for people like Jane and myself and Sharon, and people who really want to make changes in their life, for people who want to be part of the community, for people who will participate in our groups and ask questions, which we really highly value, and people who listen and watch the information we give. It's pointless almost giving information and people reading books if they don't follow through. At the end of my book, I've got a paragraph right at the end, and it says, if you have not done the exercises in this book, please start all over again.
I love that, Adrian. The last chapter in my book is called The Power of Action. Yeah. All of my chapters are like, it's the power of experience, the power of food, the power of calm, the power of relationships, then the power of action. Yeah. And in other words, do something about this. Do something. Yeah, reading is great. Filling your mind full of wonderful ideas is great, but just do something. Change something. Any little thing, and the ripple effect will amaze you.
Absolutely. Action brings the results. That's what one of my sayings. And the final thing on this list is people who want to make a difference. And I certainly know, with sitting here with Jane and Sharon, you know, we are part of this journey because we are people who want to make a difference. So we welcome on board anybody that resonates with any of those things written on the screen here, and you know, come and join this family and be part of an amazing journey forward with us. Okay, Sharon, click, click, click. Hey, who's this? Oh, look at this, man called Adrian Hanks. Are we going back? That was too quick. I wanted to see myself on the screen. Hey, there we go. Adrian Hanks and Jane, we're two of the experts in global healing. Okay, now you can move on. And this is from Pip. I truly believe in what you're doing, what you've created. You've got the passion, the drive, the right intent, and I can only see it getting bigger, more global. Absolutely. You know, and you know, there's so many of these testimonials coming from people. I receive them myself from people who I've tuned in with Global Healing. Sharon gets them all the time. Robert Kirby, another amazing person who is connected to Global Healing Exchange as an expert. Global Healing Exchange new membership site is quite amazing. Sharon has experts from all around the world who can provide you with cutting-edge information on healing and an amazing healthy lifestyle. And what you'll find with the people on Global Healing is I'm finding their energy and their lifestyle is in many ways the cutting edge. You know, people are living the cutting edge. You're not just talking about it. I certainly know in some of the things I do in my life, it's pretty cutting edge. And I know a lot of the people, the experts, are not just talking about cutting edge, but living on that cutting edge, and that's exciting. And I'm really enjoying being in the company of those people. Right, okay, look, I'm aware of the time. We might just move on to another slide and move on so that we finish on the hour, like we said we would. So click, hey, here we go. So I'm going to get you to read this for yourself, but I will read it out too. So the Global Healing Exchange membership, and you get access to the private Facebook group where you can post. I love posting in there. We can interact with like-minded individuals who share your advice and knowledge with one another, even if you're on the go. So, you know, Facebook is the thing where we all share, and I love jumping on there and sharing tips. Access to our health and wellness experts. That's Jane and myself and another 28 or 30 people, and you can certainly have access to all of us in many, many ways. And finally on here, you have access to the members area, which really is a treasure trove that is stocked with videos, podcasts, articles, webinars, and ebooks. All pretty amazing. When you jump into that members area, it's like a little Aladdin's cave in there. There's so much to go and see and explore, and can spend hours in there. It's a pretty amazing. People talk about the Akashic record. I think this is probably the 3D version of the Akashic record. There's so much in there. It's pretty amazing. So look, there's 3 things in there, and you know, you can see there's like $400 worth of value just in what you're going to get there. Yeah, $391 in value. There you go. It's that's a lot of dollars, you know, to spend. And if you were spending, you know, nearly $400, $391 over, that's a lot of dollars to be spending. However, drum roll, you can get all this for only, what have we got in the next slide? For the price of a cup of coffee a week, which is $20 a month. You know, I pay my subscription. It's $20. It just comes out, bang, 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 every month. I don't even sneeze. It's a no-brainer. It's one of the cheapest memberships I belong to, but the value is, you know, it's more than $400. I mean, $400 is just the monetary value. There is so much value there. Have a read for yourself of all the things you're going to gain there. But, you know, $20 a month is it's easy. It really is. So have a look at it. You know, you've probably made your mind up already. You know, also we accept gold bars, silver nuggets, checks, credit cards, anything. You pay with your llamas and sheep, whatever it is. But, you know, just get on board. It's a no-brainer. So what have we got here? I'd like you to reflect and imagine what it feels like to be part of something that really makes a difference. Imagine what it feels like when you're in control of your business and are visible to other people you can help. That's really important. For me, this is the essence of what Sharon's bringing. You know, really supporting people to get their businesses up and running. You know, it's a tough gig out there sometimes to get your business up and running, and with the support of the experts and with Sharon and Global Healing Exchange, I just know with my own business, the increase just from coming on board with Global Healing, and I'm sure Jane has something to say.
I can totally agree. And the credibility from writing in the magazine, just the way people responded when I mentioned that I was writing for Sharon's magazine as well, it's just a different arena to be playing in. It's great. And I think this testimonial really sums it up beautifully. It's a really, really solid base to build your business in. I love that. And you mentioned earlier too, Adrian, just quickly passed over the idea of the Facebook group, but that's a very safe place to actually start getting yourself out there. If you are someone who's just a little bit tentative at the moment, start putting stuff out on that Facebook group, and you'll get some great suggestions back. You'll get some very, very honest feedback, and it's onwards and upwards from that. If you can start that way, that's a brilliant way to go.
Fantastic. That's a great tip, Jane. Thank you. And look, Sharon, in the little post on the side here, she's actually put the link to join the membership area too. So all you got to do is put your cursor on there, give it a bit of a click straight off, and and join up and join the family. You'll be very welcome. It's all about networking in the membership area. Absolutely, Sharon. Those membership areas, all about networking and connecting, which is really very valuable and important in business. So, have we got another slide there, this Sharon, to have a look at? Ta-da! You can see movement at the station. Hey! So this is Sharon's guarantee here. I guarantee that if you join the group, spend time listening to the content that we make for you and participate in it, you will gain lots of benefit. Absolutely. Certainly I've gained lots of benefits myself for being on board as well. It's time for us to come together as a group of healers and help each other so we can be empowered and help the world to see that holistic therapy is a valid option for ultimate health. Get seen and be heard. So, next slide, please, Sharon. Da-da-da-da. Told you we'd have fun on here too. Okay, so look, can you believe it? There's even a free trial. 7 days free trial, so it's not even going to cost you a cent for the first week anyway. And I know once you get in there for that week, you're just going to be so amazed at what is on offer in there. You know, go into Aladdin's cave and just go and have a really good browse around and embellish yourself and get involved with everything that's on offer there. So 7 days trial to membership, watch the videos, listen to the podcast, and then discount of a further $40 when you join up as a member for a full year. Introduce yourself and ask questions to our Facebook community and some of our experts, blah, blah, blah. So try it now, 100% free trial. Go click, 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 and just get in there. It's a no-brainer. Just at least go and do this 7-day free trial. Okay, next one. Is there another slide there, Sharon? Hey, that's it. We have a picture of Sharon on the screen. That's hey, that's absolutely fantastic. And you know what? Sharon is miming. Well, you can mime and type at the same time. We can read what you're saying. So yeah. So look, we are on the hour of 9 o'clock. Haven't we done absolutely fantastic to get there? So with you, bear with us for another maybe 1 minute, and Jane and I would just say maybe a last word, and if Sharon wants to type something into the thing. So Jane, do you want to pop across and have a quick 28-second finish up?
Yeah, look, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I really honour you for putting your time into your development, your personal development, and potentially your business development through hearing about Global Healing Exchange, really learning any tips and tricks that we've been able to share about getting out there. I just want you to really just take the bull by the horns in that regard, though, because the world needs you. It needs what you're doing. If you're part of the general healing community, then we need you out there doing what you can do for us. We really do. So I hope you join up, and I hope, as Adrian said, just try the trial. Give it a go. See what you think.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jane, and it's great to be in this webinar with you, and I look forward to spending more time on the journey with you personally, and seeing what we can do together again in the future. And I want to thank Sharon very much for putting this all together. And look, yeah, life is with a few hitches, and that's fine. It's what happens. This is a great process for us to learn that not everything is always goes to the flow, but we make the most of it, and we still get out there and get seen and heard in the world. So I want to thank everybody for coming on board. Any questions, please contact Sharon directly. Go and do your 7-day trial, and we will be in touch with you very, very soon. Sharon will have your details, and she can certainly send you any information that you request. So, signing out from Australia, and Sharon will be signing out from the UK. We're going to close up on the Global Healing Exchange webinar. And thank you once again for being part of such an amazing and growing global family. Thank you very, very much. Ciao.